The morning before the wedding, the villa in Buckhead was eerily quiet. Marcus was dressed in his sharp black suit, ready for the day ahead, when his mother pressed the button on her motorized wheelchair and said, "My son, sit." He knelt beside her, holding her hands like he always did. Then Mama Etta's voice trembled. "Marcus, you cannot marry Keisha." His heart froze. The air grew thick. "Mama, what are you saying?" She unlocked her phone, pressed play, and a woman's voice echoed through the room. It was Keisha, just 48 hours to our wedding. "Chill out," Keisha said on the recording. "All the plans are set. I don't love him at all. After the wedding, once I get access to his company's accounts, I'll wipe them all out. I've also got plans to use his company to scam a European investor out of $2 million. Then I'll disappear, and he'll rot in jail. Let's see if his meddling mama can save him." Marcus's hands turned ice cold. His eyes widened. His mouth opened, but no words came. Where did you get this?" he whispered. "What do you think so far? Where are you watching from? And what time is it there? If this hooks you, hit subscribe for more gripping tales like this." The morning before the wedding, the villa in Buckhead was eerily quiet. Marcus Thompson stood in front of the full-length mirror in his master suite, adjusting the knot on his silk tie. The black suit hugged his broad shoulders just right, tailored sharp, like everything in his life these days. At 35, he was the king of Thompson Tech, the cybersecurity firm he'd built from a dingy basement setup in the projects to a powerhouse raking in hundreds of millions. Atlanta's golden boy, the black entrepreneur who'd clawed his way out of the hood, featured in Forbes and on TED stages. But today wasn't about boardrooms or venture capital pitches. Today was about sealing the deal with Keisha Williams, the woman who'd swept into his world like a fresh breeze off the Atlantic. Downstairs, the place was still buzzing from yesterday's chaos, even if the workers had packed up for the night. Marcus could smell the faint trace of fresh-cut lilies lingering in the air, mixed with the polish on the marble floors. The decorators had turned the living room into a damn fairy tale. White drapes cascading from the high ceilings, crystal chandeliers throwing sparkles like diamonds on a rapper's chain. Photographers had been snapping test shots all afternoon, measuring light angles against the floor-to-ceiling windows that overlooked the manicured lawns. It was all set for tomorrow, the ceremony in the backyard garden, under a custom arch woven with roses and ivy. Hell, even the caterers had dropped off samples of soul food elevated to gourmet status. Fried chicken with truffle aioli, collard greens braised in some fancy stock. Marcus grinned at his reflection. This was it. The big leagues in love. He grabbed his phone from the nightstand, scrolling through texts from his boys. "Congrats, bro. Finally locking down that queen." Another from his assistant. "Investor meeting rescheduled post-honeymoon. Enjoy the day, boss." Yeah, life was good. Marcus had hustled for this night's coding until his eyes burned, pitching to skeptical VCs who saw a black kid from the streets and hesitated. But he'd proved them wrong every damn time. And Keisha, she was the cherry on top. Stunning, with that glowing brown skin, curves that turned heads, and a laugh that lit up rooms. She worked in marketing, freelancing for big brands, always networking like a pro. When he'd brought her home 6 months ago, she'd fit right in, or so it seemed. Marcus headed downstairs, his loafers clicking on the stairs. In the heart of it all sat Mama Etta, his rock perched in her motorized wheelchair like a queen on her throne. At 72, she was a force, small frame, but eyes sharp as a hawk's. Her salt and pepper hair was wrapped in a vibrant headscarf, the kind she'd worn since back in the day, and her dress was a simple but elegant green number that screamed quiet strength. She'd lost Dad, Jamal, to a hit and run when Marcus was just 5, leaving her to raise him solo in a cramped apartment in West End Atlanta. No handouts, no pity parties. She'd scrubbed floors, sewn clothes for neighbors, and skipped meals so he could eat. "Boy, we grind or we starve," she'd say, her voice firm but laced with love. Nights when the lights got cut off, she'd light candles and tell stories of ancestors who survived worse. Marcus owed her everything, his drive, his smarts, his empire. "Morning, Mama," he called, bending down to kiss her cheek. She smelled like lavender soap and home. "You ready for your son to tie the knot?" She managed a smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. As ready as I'll ever be, baby. Her hands, wrinkled and strong from years of labor, gripped the wheelchair arms. She'd been in it for a decade now, after a bad fall at the factory where she'd worked overtime to fund his college. No complaints, though, just prayers and persistence. When Marcus hit it big, he'd bought this villa, decked it out with ramps and smart tech to make her life easier. But money couldn't buy peace of mind. Not when it came to Keisha. Flashback 24 hours, and the villa had been a whirlwind. Workers hustled in and out, carrying bolts of fabric and vases overflowing with blooms. The photographer, a chatty guy with a camera slung around his neck, barked orders. Angle that light. Yeah, right there against the marble. Decorators climbed ladders, pinning white orchids to the chandelier, making sure every petal was perfect. The whole setup screamed luxury, like a spread in Essence magazine. In the middle, Mama Etta watched it all, her wheelchair positioned like a command center. She nodded politely at the crew, but her gaze never strayed far from Keisha. Keisha moved through the chaos like she owned the place. And hell, soon she would, right? She greeted the florist with a dazzling smile. Those roses are fire, absolutely slaying. Laughed at the decorator's lame joke about tying the knot without getting tangled. Called out to the caterer, make sure those vegan options pop. Gotta keep it healthy for the after-party glow-up. Her voice was honey-sweet, dripping with charm. But Mama Etta saw the cracks. When Keisha thought no one was looking, maybe turning away to check her phone, that smile dropped like a mask slipping off. Her eyes went flat, calculating, like she was sizing up the silverware for pawn value. It was quick, a blink and miss it thing, but Mama caught it every time. Etta wheeled closer to the kitchen, where Keisha was sampling a mini crab cake. Looking good, future daughter-in-law, Etta said, her tone warm but probing. Keisha spun around, plastering the grin back on. Mama Etta, you startled me. Yeah, everything's coming together. Marcus is gonna flip when he sees it all. She leaned down, air kissing Etta's cheek, but her touch was light, like she couldn't commit. Etta nodded. You've got that right. My boy's worked hard for this life. Deserves someone who sees him, not just the shine. Keisha's laugh tinkled, a bit too high. Oh, I see him, all right, all of him. She winked, but Etta's gut twisted. Something off, like spoiled milk under fresh cream. As the afternoon wore on, the workers wrapped up. The photographer packed his gear, yelling, see y'all tomorrow, gonna capture magic. The decorators high-fived, leaving the floors gleaming like ice. The villa settled into a soft glow, evening light filtering through the windows. In the kitchen, the air smelled like spiced rice and something sweet baking. Keisha's phone buzzed on the counter. She glanced down the hall toward Etta's room, assuming the old lady was napping, and picked up. Etta wasn't napping. She never did during the day. Too many years of watching her back in rough neighborhoods. She wheeled quietly into the hallway, heading for a glass of warm water to ease her joints. That's when she heard it. Keisha's voice, low and sharp, slicing through the quiet like a switchblade. But that moment hung there, suspended. Etta paused, her finger hovering over the record button on her phone, heart pounding like it hadn't in years. The villa's ritz and glamour suddenly felt fragile, like a house of cards waiting for the breeze. Upstairs, Marcus kicked back in his office, feet up, scrolling wedding hashtags on his phone. Marcus and Keisha, forever. Yeah, this was his win. Little did he know, the real storm was brewing right under his roof. Mama Etta wheeled her chair down the dimly lit hallway, the soft hum of the motor the only sound breaking the villa's late-night hush. It was pushing midnight, and her joints ached like they always did after a long day of watching the wedding prep circus. She needed that warm water, an old remedy from her factory days, back when she'd pull double shifts to keep the lights on for little Marcus. The kitchen light spilled out like a beacon, and she paused at the edge, hearing a voice. Keisha's voice, low and edged, like she was spitting secrets into her phone. Keisha stood by the island counter, back turned, phone pressed to her ear. She glanced over her shoulder quickly, eyes scanning the empty hall, then dove back in. Only 48 hours till the wedding. Chill out, all right. I don't love that fool one bit. Her tone flipped from the sweet as pie act she'd pulled all day to something cold. Calculated. Etta's breath caught. She froze, finger instinctively tapping the record button on her phone. Habit from years of documenting shady landlords and bill collectors back in the projects. Plans are locked in, Keisha hissed. As soon as I get my hands on his company accounts after the I do's, I'll wipe 'em clean. Got the scam set for that European investor too. 2 mil easy. Then I'm a ghost, and he'll be rotting in prison. Let's see if his nosy-ass mama can bail him out this time. She chuckled, low and mean, like she just dropped a killer punchline at a roast. Etta's skin prickled, every hair standing on end. She didn't breathe, didn't twitch. Her heart hammered like it did that night Jamal got hit. Raw panic mixed with steel resolve. Keisha wrapped the call, slid the phone into her pocket, and whistled a tune while pouring herself a glass of that fancy sparkling water from the fridge. She checked her reflection in the microwave door, fluffing her hair like nothing happened. Etta eased her chair back, silent as a shadow, retreating to her room. The door clicked shut, and that's when the dam broke. She pressed the phone to her chest, tears streaming hot down her cheeks. Quiet sobs, the kind that strong black women let out when the world's asleep. Memories crashed in. Jamal's funeral. Marcus clutching her skirt at 5, wide-eyed and scared. Selling her wedding ring to cover his school fees. Skipping dinner so he could have seconds. Praying on her knees in that ratty apartment, begging God for a break. Not this, Lord, she whispered, voice cracking. Not my boy. She wiped her face with the back of her hand, steeling herself. No time for falling apart. She had a plan, always did. Morning hit with that golden Atlanta sun filtering through the blinds. The villa stirred slowly, the chef clanging pans for breakfast, the driver revving the SUV outside for errands. Marcus came bounding down the stairs in his black suit, tie loose, grinning like he'd won the lottery. Mama, you up already? How's the queen feeling this fine day? Etta didn't crack a smile. She wheeled to the living room, positioning herself under the chandelier, hands folded in her lap. Sit down, son. He paused mid-step, brow furrowing. Everything all right? You look like you've seen a ghost. But he did as told, dropping to one knee beside her, grabbing her hands, big, calloused from early hustles, but gentle as ever with her. Remember the grind, she started, voice steady but soft. Your daddy gone too soon, me scrubbing floors till my knees gave out. We built this from dirt, baby. No shortcuts, no snakes in the garden. Marcus's grin faded. Mama, what's going on? Spill it. She pulled out her phone and hit play. Keisha's voice filled the room, every damning word crystal clear. Marcus's face drained, eyes bugging, jaw slack. He snatched the phone, replayed it, once, twice, like maybe the words would twist into something else. They didn't. This can't be real. Where'd you get it? Last night, hallway, Etta said, gaze locked on his. She thought I was out cold, but I heard every bit. Silence hit like a brick. Marcus paced, hands raking his scalp. That bitch, all this time, smiling in my face. Rage boiled up, but under it, hurt, deep gut punch hurt. He slumped back down, head in hands. What do I do, Mama? Etta squeezed his shoulder. You protect what's yours, like I taught you. He nodded slowly, then yanked out his phone. Dialed the Williamses, Keisha's folks. Mr. Williams? Yeah, it's Marcus. Listen, I'm sorry, but the wedding's off. Gasps on the other end, questions flying like bullets. No, it's not up for debate. I'll explain later. Maybe. He hung up, forehead pressing against Etta's. Thanks, Mama. You just saved my ass. She patted his back, but her eyes stayed sharp. The fight was on. The doorbell chimed, sharp and insistent, cutting through the heavy silence like a knife. Marcus froze, still kneeling by Mama Etta's wheelchair, his forehead slick with sweat from the bombshell recording. Who the hell could that be? He muttered, pushing to his feet. Etta's eyes narrowed, but she stayed put, hands clasped tight in her lap. He strode to the door, peering through the peephole. Keisha stood there, glowing in a sundress that hugged her curves, holding a small gift box tied with a satin ribbon. Her smile was megawatt, the kind that had reeled him in at that networking event last year. Marcus's stomach twisted, part rage, part nausea. He yanked the door open just a crack. Keisha, what are you doing here? Baby, she sang, eyes sparkling like she hadn't a care. Early surprise for our big day. Open it. It's that watch if you've been eyeing. She leaned in, trying to peek past him. Mama Etta inside? I got something for her, too. Marcus didn't budge, blocking the entry like a linebacker. His voice dropped low, gravelly. We need to talk, now. Her brow furrowed, but the smile held. What's up? You look like you lost your best friend. She pushed forward anyway, perfume wafting in, sweet and cloying, now turning his gut. He let her in, slamming the door behind her. The living room felt like a pressure cooker, marble floors gleaming cold, chandeliers casting harsh shadows. Mama Etta wheeled forward, facing Keisha head-on, her face a mask of calm steel. Morning, child. Sit. Keisha perched on the edge of the sofa, box in lap, glancing between them. Y'all acting weird. Everything cool? Etta's thumb hovered over her phone screen. Last night, kitchen. You took a call. Keisha blinked, lashes fluttering. A call? Oh yeah, my cousin is hyping me up for the wedding. Why? Marcus crossed his arms, towering over her. Press play, mama. Let the truth spill itself. Etta tapped the icon. Keisha's voice boomed out, every venomous word. The no-love confession, the account wipeout, the 2 mil scam on the European investor, the prison setup, the mama dig. Keisha's face cracked, eyes wide, lips parting in a silent gasp. The box slipped in her grip, ribbon unraveling. What the? That's not me, she stammered, voice pitching high. Someone deep-faked it. Baby, you gotta believe me. I love you. Marcus's jaw clenched, veins popping in his neck. Love? That's what you call plotting to bury me? I heard it clear as day. She shot up, hands out pleading. Marcus, please. It was a joke, venting, or something. I was stressed. Etta's gaze didn't waver. Jokes don't sound like blueprints for ruin, girl. The doorbell rang again, louder, echoing off the walls. Keisha's eyes darted to the door, color draining from her cheeks. Who's that? Marcus ignored her, storming over. He swung it open, and 2 men in crisp, dark suits stood there, badges glinting. The taller one, built like a tank with a buzz cut, flashed an ID. Marcus Thompson, FBI. We're here for Keisha Williams. Marcus stepped back, world tilting. FBI? What the? The shorter agent, stern-faced with wire-rimmed glasses, nodded. We got a tip. Audio evidence of a fraud conspiracy. Involves your company in an international investor scam. Keisha backed up, knocking into the coffee table. Me? This is bullshit. I didn't do anything. The tall one pulled cuffs from his belt, steel clicking. Keisha Williams, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit wire fraud and identity theft. You have the right to remain silent. She lunged toward Marcus, grabbing his arm. Baby, tell him. It's a setup. I love you for real. He shook her off, voice ice cold. Do you? 'Cause that recording says different. The agents moved in. She twisted, but the tall one snapped the cuffs on, cold metal biting her wrists. Marcus, don't let him. I was framed. As they yanked her toward the door, her phone tumbled from her pocket, skidding across the marble. Marcus scooped it up, screen lighting up with a fresh text. After the wedding, money's ours. Stick to the plan. Ray. His blood ran cold. Who's Ray? Keisha's mascara smeared as tears hit. Nobody. Please, Marcus. The agents hauled her out, her screams echoing down the driveway. The black SUV idled at the curb, doors slamming as they shoved her in. Tires screeched and they were gone, leaving Marcus staring at the empty spot, phone burning in his hand. He shut the door, leaning against it, breath ragged. Mama Etta wheeled closer, touching his arm. You all right, son? He shook his head, eyes burning. If you hadn't sent that tip anonymous, she'd have played me till the end. Etta nodded. God gives us instincts for a reason, but this ain't over. That text proves it. By noon, the story exploded. Marcus's phone blew up with alerts. Twitter trending, sure Thompson wedding scam. Instagram reels of blurry villa pics. CNN picked it up. Atlanta tech mogul dumps, bride hours before vows. FBI raid follows. Blogs dissected it. Was Keisha Williams a gold digger? Inside the fraud plot. Reporters camped outside the gate, cameras flashing. Mr. Thompson, is it true your mom tipped off the feds? Keisha, innocent or guilty? Marcus paced the living room, ignoring calls from investors freaking out. This is a nightmare. My rep's tanking. Etta sipped tea, steady as ever. Truth wins, baby. Always does. Then his lawyer buzzed. Marcus, heads up. The Williams family's suing. $1 million for emotional distress, defamation, and public humiliation. They're painting you as the controlling asshole who let his mama run the show. Marcus slammed his fist on the table. Suing? After that shit she pulled? The lawyer's voice crackled. Court date set. Federal in Atlanta. Prep for war, man. Public's eating up the jilted bride angle. Marcus hung up, rage boiling. Keisha is behind bars, but her folks are gunning for payback. The villa's glamour felt like a trap now, walls closing in. The Atlanta federal courthouse buzzed like a hornet's nest on hearing day, reporters jamming the steps, cameras flashing wildly. Marcus rolled up in his SUV, dark sunglasses hiding the bags under his eyes from sleepless nights. Mama Etta sat beside him in her wheelchair, head high, green scarf tied tight like armor. Bodyguards cleared a path through the mob. Mr. Thompson, did your mom sabotage the wedding? Keisha, a scammer or scorned? Marcus stonewalled them, jaw set, pushing Etta's chair up the ramp. Inside, the air was thick with tension, wooden benches packed with gawkers, air conditioning humming low. Keisha sat on the plaintiff's side, dolled up in a white blouse and skirt, playing the victim card hard. Her eyes were puffy, mascara subtle, dabbing a tissue like she'd rehearsed it. Her parents flanked her. Mr. Williams, a retired mechanic with weary lines etched deep, avoiding Marcus's gaze. Mrs. Williams clutching a purse, lips pressed thin. Keisha's lawyer, a sharp-dressed black guy named Barrett, paced like a preacher, revving up. The bailiff boomed. All rise for the Honorable Judge Carla Hayes. A middle-aged black woman in robes strode in, glasses perched low, face no nonsense. She banged the gavel. Be seated. Civil case, Williams versus Thompson. Proceed. Barrett jumped up, voice booming dramatically. Your Honor, we're here because a good woman got dragged through the mud. Keisha Williams, ready to walk the aisle, got dumped like yesterday's trash, one day before vows. All because the defendant listened to wild accusations, no proof. Public humiliation, emotional wreck. Her reps shot, families shamed. He spun toward Keisha, who sniffled on cue. This ain't just a breakup, it's trauma, straight up. We're asking $1 million in damages to make it right. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Phones buzzed, live tweets flying. Keisha's mom nodded fiercely, like preach. Marcus sat ramrod straight in his black suit, fists balled under the table. His lawyer, Ellis, a cool-headed vet, flipped notes calmly. Etta, front row, stared ahead, unblinking. Barrett kept hammering. And who's pulling strings? Defendant's mother, controlling every move. Keisha never stood a chance. This is elder meddling gone wrong, Your Honor. Justice demands compensation. Judge Hayes leaned forward. Counselor, wrap it. Defense? Ellis rose smoothly, voice deep and measured. Your Honor, my colleague's spinning yarns, but facts don't lie. Keisha Williams wasn't in love. She was in it for the bag. Planned to hack my client's company post-wedding, drain accounts, scam a European investor for $2 million, then bounce, leaving him framed and jailed. Gasps erupted. Keisha's dad buried his face, shoulders shaking. Barrett shot up. Objection! Slander! No evidence! Ellis held up a hand. Evidence? Let's hear from the plaintiff herself. He cued the tech, and Keisha's voice blasted from speakers. The whole spiel, zero love, wipeout plans, investor fraud, prison setup, mama jab. The room went dead silent, then exploded in whispers. Keisha bolted upright, face ashen, shaking her head frantically. That's not me. Fake audio. Deep fake bullshit. Ellis stepped closer, eyes locked. We got call logs subpoenaed. Timestamps match. Your voice, your plan. Judge Hayes adjusted her glasses, scanning the documents handed up. "Miss Williams, you deny this recording?" Keisha stuttered, voice cracking. I I was pissed, venting. It was a joke. Just blowing off steam. Wedding jitters. The judge's eyes narrowed to slits. A joke about felony fraud? Destroying a man's life? Keisha's lips quivered. No comeback. Her lawyer slumped, defeated. The crowd leaned in, phones recording sneakily. Hayes banged the gavel. "Order! This court won't reward deceit. Evidence is damning. Plaintiff's claims dismissed. Defendant's actions justified. Any follow-up harassment gets contempt charges." Cheers mixed with groans. Keisha's mom wailed, collapsing into her husband's arms. Mr. Williams stood slowly, walking to Marcus with shaky steps. He gripped Marcus's hand, eyes wet. "Son, I'm sorry. Never knew we raised her better." Marcus nodded tight, throat thick. "Appreciate it, sir. No hard feelings on you." Keisha bolted from her seat, covering her face, heels clacking as she shoved through the doors. Outside, the media swarm hit. "Keisha, scammer setup. Who's Ray in your texts? Why target Thompson?" She pushed past, elbowing a mic, sprinting to a waiting car that peeled out. Inside, Marcus knelt by Etta, hugging her fiercely. Tears stung his eyes. "Mama, you nailed it again." She stroked his hair, voice soft. "Mothers know, baby, but stay sharp." As they exited through a side door, dodging flashes, Marcus's phone buzzed. Unknown number. "This ain't over. She wasn't solo." His gut dropped. He showed Etta, her face hardening. "Sounds like more snakes in the grass." Marcus pocketed it, mind racing. Keisha was just the tip. Whoever Ray was, the real game's brewing deeper. Marcus stared at the text on his phone, the words burning like acid. "This ain't over. She wasn't solo." He paced the villa's study, sunlight slicing through the blinds like jail bars. Mama Etta wheeled in, her eyes sharp despite the post-court exhaustion etching her face. "Son, that message smells like more trouble. Don't sit on it. Rally your crew." He nodded, thumb already dialing. "You're right. Time to dig." Within the hour, the study turned war room. Papers scattered, laptops humming, coffee steaming black and strong. Ellis, his lawyer, slumped in a leather chair, tie loosened. "That text? Could be a bluff, but with Keisha's phone logs, we trace it." Next in, Tyson, head of security, a burly ex-Marine with a scar snaking his cheek. He dropped a folder thick as a Bible. "Boss, I got prelims on that Ray from her texts. Number traces to a burner, but metadata points local." Darius rolled in last, Marcus's ride or die from Morehouse days, now COO at Thompson Tech. Tall, slick in a tailored shirt, he clapped Marcus on the back. "Bro, we won in court. Celebrate a sec." "Nah, I see that look. What's the play?" Marcus slammed the phone down. Keisha wasn't flying solo. Text says so, and her phone had Ray all over it. "We hunt this ghost before he bites." Tyson cracked his knuckles. Already on it, cross-referenced her calls with company access logs. Bingo. Ray links to Raymond Hayes. Marcus froze. "Our CTO? The MIT whiz I poached last year?" Darius whistled low. "Ray Hayes? Dude's a genius with code, but shady? He pitched that new firewall upgrade. Nailed it." Ellis leaned forward. "Makes sense. Insider access to servers, financials. Keisha couldn't pull a multi-mil scam alone. Needed tech muscle." Mama Etta cleared her throat from the corner. "Wolves don't howl from afar, boys. Sometimes they're at your table, eating your food." Marcus's gut twisted. "Tyson, lock it down. We confront him. Now." An hour later, Thompson Tech's headquarters in Midtown Atlanta thrummed with the usual grind. Devs typing furiously, phones buzzing with deals. But whispers snaked through. News of the wedding blow-up and court win had staff side-eyeing. Marcus stormed the boardroom, Etta wheeling behind, flanked by Tyson and Darius. Ellis trailed, briefcase in hand. Raymond sat at the glass table, polishing his glasses, gray suit crisp. He stood, smile easy but eyes guarded. "Boss, heard about the court. Congrats. That Keisha mess dodged a bullet." Marcus didn't sit. He tossed Keisha's phone across the table, screen up on the incriminating text. Money's ours, Ray. Raymond's cool cracked. Just a flicker, lips twitching. What the? That's not mine. Set up, man. Tyson stepped up, arms crossed. We traced the number, yours. Burner registered under a shell alias, but IP ties back to your home router. Darius shook his head, voice tight. Ray, what the hell? We boys here. Spill if you're jammed up. Raymond's mask shattered. He sank into his chair, adjusting his cufflinks slowly, like buying time. All right, fine. Yeah, it's me. Gas sucked the air out. Marcus leaned in, knuckles white on the table. Talk, now. Raymond smirked coldly. You think you built this empire solo, Marcus? Luck, bro. Pure luck. Daddy's connections, Mama's prayers. Me, I'm the brains. Keisha, just bait to get inside. The plan was simple. Marry in, grant access, siphon funds through back doors I coded. 2 mil from that Euro investor. Child's play. You take the fall. Fraud charges, prison, company crumbles. I rise from the ashes. Etta's voice cut sharply. Rise? On betrayal. Boy, that's a fall waiting to happen. Raymond's eyes flicked to her, dismissive. Old lady, stay in your lane. This is big league. Marcus slammed the table, glass rattling. You slimy piece of... I trusted you, hired you myself, gave you equity. Raymond laughed bitterly. Equity? Peanuts. Men like me deserve the throne. Keisha was the key, hot, convincing. But you and your mama sniffed it out. Props. Tyson grabbed his collar. You're done, fired. Cops en route. Raymond shrugged him off. Fire me? Game's deeper. Cut one head, 2 grow back. Marcus's blood pounded. Deeper how? Raymond's grin turned feral. Figure it out, genius. Tyson hauled him out, his curses echoing down the hall as security dragged him to holding. The room spun silently. Darius rubbed his temples. Damn, bro. Ray? Thought he was solid. Ellis paced. We got confession on tape. Nails him. But deeper? Means accomplices. Check systems. Now. Etta wheeled closer, gripping Marcus's arm. Listen to your mama. Snake's nest close. Don't just eyeball outsiders. Vet your inner circle. Marcus nodded, her words sinking like lead. Darius, fire up the servers. Tyson, run audits. If Ray planted something... They hunkered in the IT suite, screens glowing blue. Darius typed frantically, sweat beading. Access logs look clean. Wait, no. Hidden partition. Worm embedded deep. Tyson's eyes widened. Time transfer. 2 mil to an offshore account at midnight. Routed under your name, boss. Looks like you stole it. Frames you for embezzlement. Marcus's heart slammed. Midnight? That's hours away. Kill it, Darius cursed. Sophisticated, bounces every block. But password lock. Jamal 1988. The room is cold. Marcus whispered, Dad's name, his birth year. How the hell? Etta's face paled, but her voice held firm. Personal jab. Means the traitor knows you inside out. Darius swallowed hard. We crack it, but the clock's ticking. If this hits, feds swarm, company tanks. Marcus stared at the screen, rage and fear clashing. The worm pulsed like a heartbeat, counting down to ruin. The IT suite at Thompson Tech pulsed with frantic energy, screens flickering like strobe lights in a bad dream. The countdown timer mocked them from the main monitor. 23:59, 23:58. Marcus hovered over the lead tech's shoulder, sweat trickling down his neck despite the AC blasting. Jamal 1988, he repeated, voice hoarse. That's my dad's name and birth year. Personal as hell. Who the fuck knew that? Darius leaned against the server rack, arms crossed, face slick with nerves. Sick twist, bro. Ray must have dug deep into your files. Tyson paced, hand on his holster. Passwords locked under admin clearance. We punch it in wrong 3 times. Worm self-destructs and triggers anyway. Mama Etta wheeled to the center, her gaze sweeping the room like a spotlight. Run the access logs again. Who touched that code last? The tech, a young kid with shaking fingers, pulled up the logs. Lines scrolled. timestamps, usernames, IPs. Clean at first, then a hit. Marcus's eyes locked on one entry. Darius, your login. Multiple hits on the partition. The room froze. Darius's cool shattered, eyes darting, Adam's apple bobbing hard. What? Nah, must be spoofed. Ray's framing me. Tyson stepped in front, blocking the door. Boss, you want me to? Marcus whirled, face inches from Darius's. Logs don't lie, D. Your clearance, your timestamps. Spill it now. Darius backed up, hitting the wall, hands up. Marcus, listen. Listen, Marcus roared, voice echoing off the metal racks. We came up together. Morehouse dorms, late nights coding our first app. You were my brother. Why is your name in the damn logs? The timer ticked. 22:45. Alarms beeped soft warnings. Darius's shoulders slumped, face crumbling like wet paper. Because I planted Ray, introduced him, opened the doors, but it wasn't supposed to blow up like this. Gasps sucked the air. Etta's knuckles whitened on her armrests. Marcus staggered back, like he'd been gut-punched. You? My COO? My day one? Darius's voice cracked, tears welling. I was drowning, man. Gambling debts piled high, Vegas trips, bad bets. Ray hit me up, said he could fix it. Thought it was just skimming investor funds, a side hustle. Didn't know about Keisha or the full wipeout till it was too late. He blackmailed me, said he'd expose everything if I bailed. Marcus's world spun, betrayal slicing deeper than any knife. This wasn't some outsider. This was family. The guy who'd crashed on his couch when broke, toasted his first mill deal. Pain roared in his chest, hot and raw. You sold me out. For what? Quick cash? Darius sobbed now, sliding down the wall. I tried to rein it in, bro, but Ray pushed. Said we'd split the 2 mil clean. I set the password as a reminder. Your dad's hustle inspired me once. Twisted, I know. Etta's voice sliced through, sharp as glass. Twisted? Boy, that's poison. Anger won't fix this. Stop the worm first. Grieve later. Marcus wiped his face, tears mixing with sweat. She was right. Always was. Tyson, cuff him. Don't let him twitch. Tyson snapped cuffs on Darius, who didn't resist, head hanging. I'm sorry, Marcus. For real. The tech cleared his throat. Boss, timer's at 20. We isolated the worm, but the kill switch needs that password. Marcus nodded grimly, stepping to the keyboard. Fingers hovered, then typed JAMAL1988. The system beeped green. Code flashed. Worm freezing mid-crawl. Transfer halted at 007. The room erupted, techs cheering, high fives slapping. But Marcus didn't join. He sank into a chair, staring at Darius cuffed in the corner. Victory tasted like ash. Lost a brother, exposed the rot in his own house. Tyson radioed backup. Security lockdown. Cops incoming. Minutes later, blue lights flashed outside. Cops stormed in, reading rights. Raymond, still holding down the hall, got yanked too. His smirk gone when he saw Darius. You ratted, he snarled. Darius shook his head. Nah, they figured it. Game over. Cops hauled them out, flashes popping from media vans already swarming the lot. Thompson tech bust, headlines screamed online by dawn. Inner Circle conspiracy, COO and CTO arrested in multi-million fraud plot. Blogs dissected, Black CEO betrayed by best friend, inside the sting. Investors called frantic, but Marcus's PR spun it. Hero CEO thwarts sabotage. As the sun rose, Marcus stood on the roof deck, city skyline blurring through tears. Etta wheeled up, hand on his. You did right, son. Hurt now, heal later. He hugged her tight. If not for you, company gone, me in cuffs. She smiled faintly. God and guts, baby. But this shakes the world. Your name's gold now. News alerts buzzed. Thompson hailed as vigilante CEO. Stock soars. Pain lingered, but the storm broke. For now. Months ticked by like calendar pages flipping in a breeze, and Marcus Thompson emerged from the wreckage, a damn hero. Headlines crowned him. Atlanta CEO turns tables on betrayers. Thompson Tech thrives. Stocks skyrocketed, investors poured in fresh capital, and TED invites flooded his inbox. He graced panels, dropping wisdom like, trust but verify, 'cause snakes wear suits. Atlanta's black business scene threw him a gala, toast clinking to his grit. But nights alone in the villa, the betrayal stung fresh. Darius's face haunting his dreams, Keisha's laugh echoing hollow. Mama Etta kept him grounded, wheeling through the garden, pruning roses with steady hands. You rose from ashes before, son. Do it again, with heart this time. 4 months post-bust, Marcus hit a tech summit in New York, buzzing halls of Javits Center, devs swapping code over stale coffee. He keyed the panel on cybersecurity ethics, voice steady, dropping lines like, vulnerability ain't just in code, it's in who you let close. Applause thundered, but his eyes locked on her. Nia Brooks, sharp in a blazer, front row nodding fiercely. Post-talk, she approached, handshake firm. Mr. Thompson, your take on insider threats? Spot on. I'm in software engineering, built AI for fraud detection. Their chat sparked, her laugh real, eyes warm, no mask. Born in Harlem, bootstrapped through MIT on scholarships, she vibed with his grind story. Numbers swapped, texts flew, dates followed, walks in Central Park, soul food spots in Brooklyn. Nia saw him, the man, not the mogul. You ain't just headlines, Marcus. You're solid. He brought her home to Atlanta. Etta sized her up over sweet tea on the porch. Nia didn't fake it. Shared stories of her grandma's church suppers, asked about Jamal's legacy. Etta's smile bloomed genuine. This one's keeper, baby. They tied the knot 6 months later, an intimate ceremony in the villa garden. Roses blooming, jazz band swinging softly. Nia in ivory, glowing. Marcus in linen, vows raw. You heal what broke me. Etta front row, tears shining, whispering prayers. A year on, little Etta arrived, tiny fists waving, skin like caramel, eyes wide as her grandma's. Marcus cradled her in the nursery, rocking slowly. Named after the strongest woman I know. Nia beamed, exhausted but lit. She's got her fire already. Mama Etta moved into the guest suite full-time, her wheelchair humming through halls now filled with baby giggles. Afternoons, she'd scoop little Etta onto her lap in the garden, sun warm on their faces. Once upon a time, she'd start, voice weaving tales of clever foxes and brave rabbits, slipping in lessons. Watch for wolves in sheep's clothes, child, but love is fierce when it's true. Little Etta grew fast, toddling at 1, chattering at 2, curls bouncing. Etta taught her patty cake rhymes, sang old spirituals low and sweet. Marcus watched from the window, heart full. Mama, you're her world. Etta chuckled softly. Nah, son, she's ours. Years blurred. Little Etta hit school, acing math like her folks, sass sharp as her grandma's. Etta hit 80 slower now, but spirit unbowed. Mornings, she'd sip coffee, watch birds, recount old Atlanta tales, riots survived, dreams chased. Life's a marathon, baby girl. Pace yourself, but run hard. One crisp fall morning, little Etta, now 8, bounded to Etta's room. Grandma, story time! But Etta sat still in her chair, hands folded peacefully, head tilted like mid-prayer. Gone quiet, slipped away in sleep, duty done. The villa mourned, tears-soaked pillows, calls poured in. Funeral packed, community elders, biz moguls, all honoring the matriarch. Marcus eulogized raw. She saved me more times than stars in the sky. Her love, bulletproof. Graveside under Georgia oaks, Marcus knelt by the stone. Isabella, wait, Nia, holding his hand, little Etta clutching his leg. Wind rustled leaves, carrying whispers. Mama, he murmured, voice cracking. You rescued me from the brink, the day before my fake wedding. Kept watch till I found real. I'll never forget. Your legacy lives in us. Peace settled, like her final hug. What do you think of this story? Where were you watching from? If you dug it, comment, share, and subscribe for more fire tales. In the end, folks, this tale boils down to one powerful truth. A mother's fierce love and sharp instincts can snatch you from the jaws of betrayal, paving the way for real justice and the kind of happiness that lasts. It's a reminder that vigilance from those who truly care can turn heartbreak into triumph. Now think about this. What's the biggest betrayal you've faced, and how did family or intuition pull you through? Drop your stories in the comments. I'd love to hear how it shaped you. Next up, we've got a wild story about hidden family fortunes and shocking revelations that'll have you questioning everything. Don't miss it. Thanks a ton for hanging out with us today. Your support means the world. Catch you in the next one.